Hello Capricorn. Great to have you here. My name is Shauna. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Capricorn. I did the reading late and I am sincerely sorry for the delay. I had a major family situation that happened over the weekend. And the weekend is when I normally do these readings for the monthly readings for you guys. And I just could not concentrate to get the readings done. It was pretty severe. And so I apologize for the delay for this reading. And I promise to do the March readings a lot earlier so that we can avoid, delays and things like that. Okay, so I apologize. I'm sincerely sorry. Let's go into your reading. I am using the same spread. This is the 12th house of the natal astrology. Each card represents a specific house, and each house represents a different sector of your life. So it's the same spread as I did last month. And I'm going to go over the cards with you to explain how the energies work. But in terms of your first house, the first house is pretty much the energy. It's not an energy that's going to permeate throughout the month, but it is something that it's your emotional state, your mental state, and your physical state as of right now. First of all, we have here the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. I feel it's a pretty good card that basically indicates that, if your financial situation had been very, very wobbly, if you were juggling multiple jobs, if you were juggling multiple responsibilities, I feel like you might realize last month that something has to give, something has to change, okay? So I feel like a lot of you are employed at multiple locations. You also have a lot of responsibilities on your plate, and as a result of it, I feel that you're going to figure out some things need to be scrapped away. So time to one job, one person, one obligation, rather than taking on too many things and not doing any of them well. So you're not typically a multitasker. You like to work diligently at one thing at a time, and I feel like this energy is coming in to corroborate that you're better off devoting your time exclusively to one thing, making sure it's done first before you can jump to the next. So scattering your energy far and wide is not going to be helpful for you. And it was a lesson well learned last month, and for this month you want to also bring the same lesson into the month with you. In terms of your second house, it deals with your values. It also deals with your financial situation, your finances. We have here the Nine of Wands. And when we have the Nine of Wands in terms of finances, it basically means waiting on some type of a compensation, waiting for situations, money to dispense, like, coming through from an institution, for example, waiting on a payout, waiting on a situation that might have been quite conflictual, that might have been, it might have like dragged on for many, many months. So this is a situation where it deals with workers' compensation, car accident claims, as well as, even financial aid coming through from a financial institution. There might have been some holdup, there might have been some delay. And I feel like for this month of February, something is getting released so that you're actually able to, have that money in your hands, okay? So it's overall, it's very good. So you're no longer needing to wait, you're no longer needing to do anything else in order to get the money. I feel that it is coming through. Others of you, this is the card where you have a lot of projects that you're working on, little projects here and there, they all add up, and you're waiting for projects to finalize and finish up so that you can get, financiers, you can get funding, you can get even the compensations for it. So some of you might be freelance people, so you might work on a project basis, on a contract basis, and I feel like you're closing up, you're wrapping up, and you're sending out invoices so that you can be paid for your services. And then I feel that, your financial situation is going to be improved significantly because those invoices that you're sending out, they're being paid. So overall, very good energy. As it relates to your value system, I feel almost as if in the past you might have been put in a situation where you felt like you had to defend yourself. So I feel like a defensive energy associated with this card, those walls are coming up. You're surrounding yourself with these wands ready to battle. It's almost as if you might have been a little bit more touchy. You might have been a little bit more defensive. People might have said something like very innocently, just as a matter of fact. And I feel like you might have taken offense to some of the things that were said. And I feel the walls falling away. The walls are coming down for this month. And I do sense that you're a little bit more. I feel for some reason some of you might be a little bit irritable last month. I feel like for this month, you're not taking things personally, okay? So the walls are coming down, and you're not feeling as if you're thrust into a position where you need to defend yourself anymore. So you're seeing eye to eye with other people, and you're also allowing that, channel of communication to open up between you and another person so that you can understand each other and understand where the other person, plays their value. So I feel like that's the case here. The third house deals with communication, and it also deals with siblings. First of all, for those of you who have siblings, there might be some type of a trip, some type of a voyage, some type of a reconnection with family members, especially siblings. So this is a situation about where you might have to have some type of an emotional exchange with a sibling, okay? And then for others of you, as it relates to your communication, it plays out in the same manner. It's something that you thought was done and over with. It needs to be readdressed. So something is being brought back up, and you're going back to a situation in order to address it. I feel for some of you, it might pertain to a work environment. It's linked up here with the Knight of Cups, which is in your work sector. So I feel like it might have been, a verbal debate, a verbal exchange that didn't really serve its purpose. It was kind of like, harsh words might have been said to. People got defensive. There were a lot of egos, bruised egos at work. And I feel almost as if something's coming back here for you to address, coming through for this month. And I feel that the way that you communicate this time, aim for higher ground, okay? Aim for the high road. Don't fight fire with fire. Don't hit them below the belt. Don't take a cheap shot. You're not ones to do that, Capricorns, but you have a very, very tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. A lot of earth signs. But I feel like the majority of you guys, you're very, very witty. And the things that you say is like mind-bogglingly witty. And sometimes the audience that you're dealing with, it might just like go over their heads, okay? So that's what I'm sensing here. And so I would advise you communicate in a matter of fact, in a frank, in a very direct way. And I feel like that's gonna get you far. When it comes to this communication aspect of it, that's gonna get you further along. So aim for the high road, aim to be transparent, aim to, disclose information in a meaningful way. Aim not to bring up information that might be incriminating to other people, or people might take offense to it, okay? So just, I feel like you can't help but, bring sarcasm. That's what I'm sensing. But it's okay. I feel like, you're generally, I feel that, you aim to do the right thing. So I'm not too worried. I just feel like the people around you, some people get it and then other people don't. Like with the sarcasm, I feel like some people get it, and then for other people, it goes right over their heads. So I just feel like it's going to put you in an awkward situation. That's what I'm sensing. So just aim for the high road, okay? When it comes to your communication, be as linear and be as straightforward and be as unassuming, I guess, as you can, all right? What's coming through in your fourth house? This deals with family. We have here the devil in the reverse position. So I feel like there might have been some major, major changes for the better within your family unit. People overcoming addiction, people overcoming like bad behavior cycles even being broken. And that sense of restriction, that sense of stifled energy, that stagnation in your home environment is being lifted. This is also a situation where third parties are interfering in your home life, okay? And I feel like you're overcoming these restrictions, and you're feeling very empowered right now. And you're also in a state where you're starting to make your family a home again, where it's becoming a haven for you rather than a source of contention for you. I feel for some of you, honestly, there might be roommates, people moving in or out. And while you're looking for new roommates, I feel like you're kind of worried about your financial situation. You're kind of worried, like, do I have enough to cover, the expenses? So I feel that coming through for those of you that are living with roommates or living with other people. In terms of your housing environment, though, I just want to say I'm sensing almost as if for the past few months, it might have been very stifling for whatever reason. It just felt very uncomfortable. It just felt almost as if you couldn't really be yourself. You couldn't just go home and relax. You might not even have the time to really go home and get proper sleep. So sage your house, clear out that energy, okay? If you don't know where it's coming from, I do feel it's really important for you to, burn some incense, rearrange some furniture, like rearrange some things in your I feel like your bed. Just rearrange something, dust off, the curtains, dust off those comforters, dust off things that have been lying around for months. So I feel like cleaning up, dusting off, getting rid of clutter. That's going to be really important in your home environment. And smudging, saging your house, burning some sage incense and things like that. It's going to be really good to revive the aura within your house. Okay. Let me just say as well, I'm getting a strong message here with the mother figure. Give me 1 second. It's linked up right here with the emperor. So I feel almost as if some of you, not all of you, some of you, I'm almost sensing as if mothers and fathers, okay, so your family life, and I'm going to talk about the mother and the fathers together because the message is coming through. Um, I almost feel like they're stuck together in a very in a very unhealthy way. So it doesn't mean that the relationship itself is not healthy, but they both have kind of like a similar mentality. And I feel almost as if there's a lot of you are very, very concerned about how they're living, about their home environment, about, one or both partners might have dealt with some type of, I'm sensing like unhealthy habits, smoking, drinking, other vices as well, recreational drug use, as well as dependencies that might not be healthy, okay? And I'm also feeling as if they might enable each other. They might not help to empower each other. I'm also seeing lack of financial planning for some of you guys as it pertains to your parents. And I'm also feeling a mother figure who might be dealing with some type of health issues as well. So I'm seeing like I don't feel like sudden health issues. I feel like more degenerative health issues. Arthritis, chronic pain, like chronic back pain, bodily like bruises, or even I'm sensing muscle aches, and I'm sensing somebody is overworked. And so this is something that is coming through for this month. I feel like you might hear it from them. They're physically contacting you, talking about it. Or I do sense like some of you might be very, very worried about them as well. If that's the case, reach out and have a conversation and see if they're okay. All right. I feel it's coming through heavily with the father, but I feel like the mother might not want to worry you, and so she might, keep the information from you. She doesn't want to stress you out. She doesn't want you to worry too much. Okay. So contact your parents, Capricorn. Contact your parents. What I'm also getting as well is I just feel almost like a very, very authoritative, either a mother figure or a father figure. And I feel like some of you are dealing with the effects of having like not having a warm, loving, affectionate type of a relationship with that, that role model in your life. And so you might feel like they were physically there, but they might have been very emotionally distant or emotionally absent. And I'm sensing almost as if you're in the home that you're hoping to recreate for yourself. I feel like a lot of you are overcoming these challenges. And if you had a specific relationship with your father and it went a certain way, or your mother and it went a certain way that you didn't like, I feel like you're trying your best to create a very loving home for yourself and for the people that you include in your family unit, for your wife, for your husband, for your spouse, for your kids. I feel like you're trying to break these cycles, which is really good. Cycles of dependency, cycles of even drug use, cycles of like unhealthy habits, okay? So you're actively trying to implement this. And I feel like because you're doing it with such purpose, and you also have some divine help, by the way. But I feel that, not to gloss over your contributions. I feel like you're trying your best to create the ideal home environment. You're seeing these patterns within, other family units, and you're trying to break away from that, which is a really, really good thing to do. In terms of your fifth house deals with recreation. It also deals with creativity. It also deals with children. I feel, let's talk about children first, because this is coming through. Your children are going to be well protected. I feel like for those of you who are watching this, you have children. Your children are very stubborn, but they're going to have to figure out things on their own, okay? This is not to say that, practice tough love, practice detachment. I feel like they're very, very stubborn, and they're going to do what they want to do. And I feel that, you can only teach them the proper way to do it. You can only guide them. You can't really force things upon them. And so they're telling you, in the fifth house of children, you might want to take a step back, and you might want to give them the opportunity to make the right decision. So don't try to make that decision for them, okay? Detach a little bit, all right? In terms of recreation and the people that you are dealing with, the people that you might be socially dating, we have the Emperor, which indicates it's almost like, a very, very strong-minded, very intelligent person. And they're going to stick to their guns, and no matter what you tell them, they're going to do what they feel is the best thing for them to do. And so a lot of you might be dealing with somebody who might be dating somebody who is in a position of authority. I feel almost as if they are somebody that other people look up to, admire greatly. They're in a position of status and authority, and they have great command. When they talk, other people listen. And I'm sensing that, the people that you're dating socially, you can get a lot of insights from them just by interacting with them, like having a conversation with them. You can glean a lot of good insights and a lot of good wisdom. And I feel that you're generally dealing with people that are very straightforward, very honest, very sincere. They know how to, they're very responsible too, but they know that life is about, oftentimes we have to make the hard decisions, and the hard decisions sometimes don't make us very popular people, because there's always going to be opposition. But I feel like they're approaching this from a moral standpoint, and so I feel like you're very proud of the people that you're interacting with, because you know that they have a strong sense of moral integrity. Okay, so a very, very good card altogether. I'm gonna see. I feel like for some of you, in terms of how you entertain yourself, in terms of how you have fun, I feel almost like you might have grown up in a very stern household, for example, and the things that you do to have fun was more about, practical, which is like doing homework with a sibling. That was equivalent to fun. Or like doing recreational activities like swimming, soccer. These are extracurricular activities, but you might not have had time for recreational things that you love. So everything was dictated by the parents, what's appropriate for you to do and things like that. And so I feel a lot of you are making up for lost time. You're trying to find ways to do it, and you're trying to away from these cycles by, if you have children especially, you're trying to break away from these cycles by giving the kids a little bit more leeway in terms of what they do recreationally. So this is a very powerful card. It's also a really important card coming through in your fifth house, which basically indicates that you're going to encounter some very good people overall. And many life lessons are going to be had by the people that you're dating, through the people that you're dating, okay? The sixth house deals with work, your daily routine, as well as your health. Let's talk about work because this is a really nice card. Flirtation on the work front. This is what it indicates to me. So it's a nice card. And some of you might be involved, you know, in a work environment with a water sign. So you might be literally just working with a water sign. This is a Pisces, Cancer, or a Scorpio. And I feel like others of you, this card literally can just mean, you know, co-workers bringing you cookies, bringing you snacks, bringing you coffee, because you have a very, very strong, you know, rapport with your co-workers. Your work environment is flowing really well. You get along with co-workers, you get along with bosses, you get along with authority figure. And I'm feeling as well, the people that you're working with can also be very strong karmic connections with you, and the relationship, the friendship, and the you know, the comradeship might last for a really long time as well. Okay, so that sense of camaraderie, it's highly prevalent in your work environment. So this is a really good thing. Others of you, there might just be flirtation on the work front. Somebody's hitting on you. It might be a client, it might be a colleague, but you know, business and pleasure, just be careful. But I do see some inner office like romances, and I do see some flirtations on the work front, which is not always bad, but you know, try to keep things professional. In terms of your health, this is a very good card that basically means, you know, higher liquid intake. So drinking a lot more water, taking vitamins, juicing. You're doing something to improve your health regimen. I feel like a lot of you are drinking liquids for some reason, so that might be like more juicing, vitamins, and all of those things. You're taking better care of your health, and you're being a lot more consistent about taking better care of your health. Okay, so overall, it's a good card. In terms of your daily routine, I feel like you're veering a little bit off track. It's almost like you're seeking more opportunities for recreation and fun, and so your routine is not very rigid. And I usually think of Capricorns as having, you know, checklists, as having goals, as having like agendas for every hour of the day. But I feel like that's not the case coming daily schedule to get things done. So you're giving yourself more slack, which is good. This is a good energy for you guys. Also, in the work front, I feel like there's a job offer as well. For those of you who are looking, for those of you who are moving, shifting to new work, there's going to be a new job that's coming into the picture. And I feel like it's a very emotionally fulfilling job. So in a way, you can say that you don't really care how much they pay because the job is something that you love. So you're just going to accept it anyways. So I feel like something is coming through in that manner. But I feel like they can also, you know, pay you quite well as well. But it's just the job that for new work, okay? So very positive cards overall, Capricorns. I'm happy to see this for you guys. And in terms of your relationship sector, we have the World. Let me get the message out. So when I see this card, I usually think about it as being in a relationship with somebody who's very different from us. So they could be of a different nationality, different cultural background, different linguistic background. Just they're very, very different. And I'm also sensing as well, some of you might be, you know, dating or in a relationship with or married to or living with somebody who's very different from you. And it creates a lot of excitement. It also creates, you know, because you're so different from each other, there's a lot of room for growth and there's a lot of room for learning. So this is a beautiful energy. Others of you, you might literally be traveling with a significant partner. I do see overseas travel. I do see the European continent as well as like the British like the British, like British Commonwealth countries. So English speaking countries that might have been colonized earlier. So I feel like some of you are traveling. So New Zealand does come to mind, as well as Australia. And I do feel like a lot of long distance travel for many of you. You might be literally traveling with a person that you're in a relationship with, okay, or in a business partnership with as well, because this is also indicative of branching out, expanding your business overseas, expanding your territory, your physical territory in terms of business partnerships. And then for a small minority of you, I feel like you're feeling a little bit trapped, as if you're not really growing anymore in your relationships. And that's for romantic relationships. I feel like some of you feel a little bit held back. I'm sensing some of you want to explore, want to have fun, but I feel like because of this deep-rooted sense of responsibility, you might be staying in a relationship where you feel like it's no longer serving its purpose in your life. You're no longer growing as an individual. So I feel like that's a dilemma that some of you are facing right now. But overall, it's still, I'm sensing like a small minority is dealing with this, okay? The eighth house deals with, this is a psychic house, and it also indicates as well joint finances and inheritance. So I'm looking at this because I believe Sagittarius got a very, very similar similar card, okay? So in terms of joint finances, there is going to be a new agreement that is reached between you and another person in terms of how you both conduct business, how you manage finances. And I do sense that there's going to be a major milestone. So like I do see agreements being reached. I do see peace treaties. And I also feel like, they're saying like problems being left behind when it comes to financial resources that you're dealing with another person. So you're no longer wobbly. I feel that you're going to be able to reach a major milestone, major decision for this month, okay? And what I'm also sensing as well is there might be, if you are financially dependent or involved with another person, like if you have joint assets, I'm sensing for some of you, you or another person, there might be a situation where somebody overspent, or there might be a situation where one person tells the other, I can't make the rent this month, can you help me out? I can't make the car payment this month, can you help me out? I can't pay the child support for the kids this month, can you help me out? So I feel like that type of arrangement is coming through, and they're telling you, I feel like that person is definitely honest. So if that's the case, practice, I guess, like practice love and compassion, because I feel like that's what they're dealing with, okay? They literally can't make the bills. So if you can help them out, I feel like that's going to be very, very good for you overall in terms of, that relationship arrangement, okay? So your ninth house deals with travel, and it also deals with higher education. So the Sun card basically indicates a lot of success. So this is a card about abundance, success, generosity as well. And in terms of higher education, some of you who are students, this is like acing exams. Getting a very, very good grade on a presentation, getting a very good grade on an essay, on an exam, on a group project. I'm also sensing that you're rubbing elbows with very important people as well in the in the school environment. So you might have some very, very inspiring professors. You might have some really inspiring classmates. You might meet people who are very like-minded, okay? And likewise, you might also, in a school setting, in an academic setting, I feel like you might meet people that can make recommendations for you. They can write letters of recommendations, or they can recommend a job, or they can help you find a job, okay? So I feel a lot of success is coming through in the ninth house, which basically means that you're in the right environment to learn, but you're also getting like professional success because of your hard work in a school setting. In terms of travel, I feel like some of you might be traveling. So I feel some of you might be, traveling south, somewhere where it's a little bit more tropical, a little bit warmer. And I'm also feeling some of you might be traveling with a significant other. And I'm also sensing, Southern Hemisphere. I keep seeing, Mexico, but it might be because it's in the news. But I keep seeing like Latin American countries, as well as not so much I'm seeing like Latin American countries as well as the Polynesian islands. Okay, so that's travel. If it's being planned right now, then I feel like it might still be taken, by the summertime even. But I'm seeing a lot of like, I'm seeing Mexico, I'm seeing like cruises, and I'm also seeing a lot of just the Polynesian islands overall. Um, your higher education house is really lit up, so that means you're going to have achieve a lot of success. So for those of you who are thinking, debating, should I go back to school? The answer here is yes. This is a really good card that indicates your luck is opening up. You're going to have a lot of success as well, okay? Getting very good report cards, so like 4.0s, 3.0s. So I feel like you're seeing the result of your hard work on the academic front, okay? So keep at it, Capricorns. In terms of your 10th house, the 10th house deals with your career, and it also deals with a situation where it deals with the father. But let me just talk about your career track, because there's a very strong message coming through. This is a card that indicates that, in the past, you might have lost direction as to where you were supposed to be headed, right? So I feel like, you might have had a lot of skills, you might have had a lot of interests, and you were trying to figure out what should my career be. And I feel like, you figure out where you want it to be after much trial and error. And I feel like you're looking back at the time that was wasted on all the other jobs, on all the other careers, and you're like, I wish I could regain that time, because now I feel like I'm older than the rest of my peers, and you feel like that time was wasted. But they're here to remind you that the time is not really wasted, okay? Life is a major journey, it's a process, and a lot of the times we measure our achievements in a linear time frame. But certain things have to be experienced in order for us to get to the next step, okay? And so I feel like for some of you, you might have been like, oh, I shouldn't have wasted 3 years of my life doing that sales job, because now my career is different. Well, you learn a lot of new skills in that sales job, right? You learn to be people oriented. You learn customer service skills. You learn to be accommodating, and you also learn to be smart. So I feel like whatever jobs you've had to take in the past, it wasn't wasted. You learn valuable skills to get you where you are right now. So don't beat yourself up over it, and don't live with the regrets, okay? So I feel some of you are just like, I wish I hadn't wasted all that time. And then others of you, I feel like there might have been some regrets, some sadness, some regrets, some disappointment when it comes to work that you feel almost like, I didn't do it to the best of my capabilities. So once again, beating yourself up over things, okay? And it's not helpful at this point, Capricorn. Learn from it, vow to not do that again, and try to move on from it, okay? I'm seeing, I mentioned the father earlier, but I'm feeling like some regrets about lost time with the father. So you might have wanted a specific type of a relationship with your father, but for whatever reason, there might have been resentment. There might have been his absence. So I feel like you're trying to make up for lost time, and I feel that I feel like some of you feel a little bit bad for holding grudges against your father, or your father holding grudges against you. So there's a healing that needs to take place within the family unit as it pertains to your father, okay? We have here the 11th house, which deals with friendships and group associations, with the Temperance card in the reverse position right next to the Five of Cups with the Devil card. I do see alcohol issues, okay? I do see like a lot of excessive drinking, excessive partying, And I feel like in the past, this might have been something you were struggling with, or your friends might have been struggling with. And I feel almost as if you've left it behind, but I feel like your peers or your friends are still dealing with this. And so I'm sensing that, you need to be careful about who you get involved with. And you also need to be careful about, figuring out if they need help. If like this is proving to be too much for them, if they need assistance, if they need help, if they need intervention, that is something that you can do and on their behalf, okay? I'm just going to leave it at that because I feel like that message is for a small minority of you, but it is coming through strongly in your friendship circle, okay? The 12th house, we have here the Page of Swords, and this basically indicates a person. This is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And this is something in your environment that you're not aware of. And I feel like there is this person coming through. They're showing up in the reverse position. So that means they're not very frank and direct and honest with their communication. And this is somebody that you might want to be careful about because I feel almost like you think it's over and done with, right? But I feel like they're coming back. So there's an element of a person coming back from your past. They have a history with deception, but I feel like they're still coming back in from the past, okay? So lesson has not been learned from their end, and I feel like you're going to be hearing from this person for this month. They might also be somebody in your friendship circle as well. I feel that coming through heavily for some of you. Okay, so I'm going to go into your love reading, and I'm going to I pulled out this spread here. This card here is the World. It represents your 7th house for love and romance. And so I'm going to use that to transition into the next phase of your reading. So, excuse me, I'm going to use this deck actually. So what's going on for the Capricorn people? I feel like a lot of you are getting opportunities to travel this month. And something to be careful about, okay? Especially for those of you who are coupled up, I feel like you have opportunities to travel. In the process of traveling, in the process of interacting with other people, there's going to be, temptation, there's going to be flirtation, there's going to be, attraction in the work front. If you're spending that much time away from home, there is going to be that sense of loneliness. But I feel like, that's what I'm sensing here. A lot of temptation coming through in the work front, okay? You might also be discussing travel plans. You might be traveling physically this month as well with a love partner. And I feel like some of you are going overseas internationally. Some of you are going away for the weekend, and I feel like in a retreat type of a setting, in a very peaceful spa-like swimming pool, something like that for the weekend. It could also be, Valentine's Day weekend as well. This popped out. Okay, so there are a lot of messages coming through. Oh, I need another card here. There are a lot of messages coming through. So let me just say this. For some of you, you are hearing back from an ex from the past. Okay, this is a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You're hearing from this person, and there is a major growth spurt that has happened with this person. They're at a point in their life where they feel very accomplished. They feel very happy with themselves. They feel very just content. You're going to be hearing from this person. Whether or not you want to reconnect, that is up to you. But I feel like they're really at a very good emotional space right now. So there's going to be opportunity for healing associated with this person. If you were involved with this person in the past and things have been very, very difficult, I almost feel them coming through as offering like with a peace treaty, a peace gesture, an offer for peace, an offer for like reconciliation as well. Okay. And I feel like at this point in their lives, emotionally, they are stable. And emotionally, they're in a really good space, and they're ready to be in a relationship. All right. So that's coming through from the past. Others of you are dealing with another earth sign and you're thinking heavily about this person. So this is another Taurus, a Virgo or a Capricorn, sun, moon, or rising. This is somebody that is, I almost want to say, like, they're very good with their hands. They have a lot of talents. They might be very educated as well. And I'm also sensing as if, they have a very playful energy about them, and they have a very good heart. And I feel almost as if you want to offer this person a proposal, taking the relationship to the next level, building a house together, living together, or even I'm sensing a lot of you like wanting to move the relationship to the next level, wanting to propose to this person even. And I feel like this is something you're thinking about, because I feel like this is a card about, very, very strong soul connection. It's like no matter who's there in the room, when you cross paths or when your eyes meet, you know they're the one for you, and they know what you're thinking just by looking at you. So I feel like this is a very strong soul connection that you have with another person. They could be another earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I feel like you want to take the relationship to the next level. And I feel like it can go the distance, okay? It's very stable. It's very harmonious. And you both are very similar. It's almost like, two people building something together. So it's a really good card for a family. And then I feel some of you are in this current situation where financially you are overcoming financial difficulties. You're feeling quite good about yourself. You might be single as well. And I feel like you want to play the field. So that's just, pretty much like long story short. You're making quite a bit of money. You might be single or you might even be attached. You're making quite a bit of money. And I feel like you're a little bit reckless, okay? You're a little bit reckless with your actions. So it's almost like money and prestige is associated with power. And you feel almost like when I have a lot of money, when I have a lot of, I have a lot of status, I can do whatever I want. So be careful about this, okay? Aim for that moral high ground, Capricorns. Aim to do the right thing, because you don't want to veer off track. And I believe I mentioned that with Sagittarius too. So some of you might be dealing with, another fire sign here, a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. And I feel like they're letting the money get to their head, and they might not behave in a way that is honorable. And I feel like if you're involved with them in a relationship, there might be a little bit of a ego conflict, or even like a moral conflict, like a moral debate, a moral conflict coming through with this fire sign. I feel like they're coming into quite a bit of money, and there's a little bit of a conflict. I feel almost as if they might want out of the relationship. Somebody wants out. It could be you, it could be them wanting out of the relationship, wanting to go back to an ex even. Okay? What's coming through for you guys? We have here the Knight of Swords, and this is a character that you're going to meet for those of you who are single. This is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And their energy is that they've dealt with some major, major upheavals in their own life. They're not yet ready to date. It seems almost as if they need to go through some things. They might be newly divorced. They might be newly single. They might be newly separated. I feel like emotionally they haven't processed whatever happened yet. And so they're at a point where they're looking for a distraction. And I feel like if you're on the dating front, if this sounds familiar, you might want to, take things very, very slowly with them, because I feel like they're not ready for a relationship just yet. They're not looking for a relationship, and they need some time to properly mourn whatever past relationship that they've dealt with. So they're not just yet ready. Okay, so be careful. Foundation is something that you're bringing to the month with. We have here the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is kind of like guilt and anxiety about getting caught. We also have here the Ace of Swords, which also indicates a situation where you might be in one relationship and you're eyeing another person from afar. So I feel some of you are in a very, very solid relationship with either an earth sign, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And I feel like, well, actually, there are many, many signs showing up here. I feel like you're in a stable relationship. You want something new. And I feel almost like you're flirting outside of the relationship. That's what I'm sensing. Or this is an energy coming through from the partner, okay? But either way, I feel that you have a solid, committed relationship for many of you, and you're planning to take it to the next level, which is really good. And then others of you, you might be in a relationship acting as if you're single. And then for others, if you're involved with a fire sign especially, I feel like they want out. They want to go back to an ex. And I feel like you might have had this conversation already. If you're newly dating an air sign, take it very slow, because they're not ready. Okay? So Capricorns, I feel bad about the reading, because first of all, being taken to the next level. I see a lot of exes showing up in the picture. I see a lot of flirtation with coworkers as well. So just something to keep in mind about, and be very, very careful. Aim to walk on that righteous path, okay? I do wish you all the best. Have a very wonderful Valentine's Day for those who are celebrating. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, please visit my website. The information is in the description box below, where you can book an appointment and view my availability. And if you'd like to donate to the channel as well, much appreciated. The information is also in the description box below. So best of luck with everything, Capricorns. I'll be back for the mid